Thank you for hanging on. We will go ahead and get started and open it up to some questions for Kurt. Alexa.
Hi, Kurt. Just before the game tomorrow, what are some of the keys that you guys are honing in on, both to make sure you guys are in the best form possible going into the last regular season game, but also to make sure Atlanta, gets it stays under control and is contained?
Yeah, concerned about us remaining focused and pulling out all the energy, all the tenacity that's made us special through this stretch. We're tired. You can tell that there's fatigue has sunk in on this group, and not only physical, but mental. So we'll have to, call on some of our reserves in terms of reserve energy to try to, muster up obviously what we need for this game. But, certainly you can feel some of the fatigue here down the stretch of a season and how much we've played for each and every game, since the post-Olympic break.
I know in the last game, most of the starters played between 20 and 30 minutes, kind of depended. But are you hoping that if, the game allows it to really let them kind of, you mentioned you hope that you're calling the reserves for more energy, but also do you hope to get, some of the starters more rest as you guys transition to the playoffs?
Yeah, we're obviously we're going to play and we're going to try to stay sharp. We won't have another game for 11 days. So we know how important it is to stay sharp and continue to gel together, continue to incorporate AT into it. And again, it's our own individual reserve that I'm talking about. It's that, can we muster up a little bit more fuel one more time? I know that we're fatigued. I know we're mentally fatigued. It's going to take a group effort. We're going to have to call on some stuff deep within each other, to have success in this game. Atlanta's very talented offensively. They have incredibly talented wing scorers and therefore can put points up in a hurry. So you've got to match their energy. You got to match their athleticism to be able to contain them.
Thank you.
Kurt, Jim Clark from Women's Hoop Swirl. You guys have this 13-game winning streak, largely done without AT. Talk a little bit, if you would, about kind of the coaching difficulty of bringing in even one of the great players in the league into this group that's been playing together for so long. Is that a sensible question?
Sure. Obviously, the benefit is you're adding a great player. You're adding a great X's and O's mind to the team. So she can really help really relay what's happening out there, what she's seen. And she's got a great basketball mind. So she really picks up things on how to attack opponents, but also how people are attacking you. Obviously, we've had a ton of success playing the way we play, and that is controlling pace. And AT challenges us to play with pace. She's a pace setter. And so, I think there's good with this, is that we've wanted to play with pace, and if nothing's there, to play with intent. And really play to our advantages and to our schemes that we think can win against that opponent from that night. The challenge is trying to, help AT get the rust off. And so, at times we have to get her in there. We have to, put her in with starters so you've got to take a starter out, but you're just trying to incorporate her and finding real game time. Practice is great. She's been practicing tremendously with us, but it's a different beast on game night, and it's a different tempo. It's a different pressure. And so just trying to incorporate her with that group to build some continuity as we get to the playoffs. It was really important if she was going to play, and her desire to play and her ahead of her schedule. I thought it was important that she was able to try to play in these 2 games and not roll her out and try to experiment in the playoffs when the pressure is going to be a great deal higher.
Alexa, do you have another question for Kurt?
I do. I wanted to ask a few more about AT. Can you shed a little light on, I know you were hoping that there's a possibility throughout the season that maybe she could come back, but was there a specific moment where it really became clear to you that, oh, like she can actually, like, we can have her back this season, like she can come back and really help us with what we're doing? Like, when exactly in the timeline of everything did that happen?
I think it really hit us right around the All-Star / post-Olympic break, the start of it. She was way ahead of schedule as we got into early July, and you could see her moving. You could see her cutting. You could see her doing some things, and you're like, wow, it's early July. Playoffs don't start until, mid to late September, and this is early July. Like, could this really happen? I think that was the aha moment that things were really trending, in the right direction. But there was still so much time, and there potentially are setbacks or plateaus, and with rehab, and is she ahead of schedule? Is she going to hit a plateau? Is there going to be any setbacks? So while we were excited going into the Olympic break that this is trending way ahead of schedule, it was day by day and just keep watching her, and there was no pressure. I very rarely, maybe once a week, maybe once every 10 days would talk to her about things. We just let her go about her business of rehabbing and didn't have conversations about playing. We just left it alone.
One more for me on AT. Dewana mentioned something that, like, this is AT's team. She's the longest tenured player here. And because of that, she thought that AT really had this extra motivation to come back and help you guys win a championship. And from your perspective, do you see that, obviously she's been hungry to win a championship well beyond this season, but with you guys, the team that you have this season, with her, making that progress with her rehab, how much did you see that motivation to help make this franchise, a championship franchise, since she's been private so long, kind of play a role?
Yeah, AT has so much pride about being the OG right now. She's been here the longest. She's really helped us since 2017 become the most consistent team in terms of regular season wins in the league, and maybe only behind Washington in playoff wins since 2017. All that's fantastic, right? Like, all that is, wonderful. Blotter, but it's about championships at the pro level. And she really takes pride in being a person that's been here the longest and trying to bring the first championship to Connecticut. So with that said, we all understand where we're at. We are in a window, and you're not always in a window in the pro game that you're built to make a run at championships. And we've been in this window now for a few years. Came up just minutes short in 2019. Had a really good finish to last season, but without JJ and JJ opting out, we were probably a player short of making a legitimate finals run last year. As good as we were playing and as much as we thought we could win it last year, came up a little bit short. AT realizes that we're in this window. We have a veteran group. Veteran at some point turns into older. That word turns from veteran to older. And so we are in our window now. So, I think there's motivation for a lot of caveats for AT to be back and help us, because we all realize, we're all mature enough to talk about it, that, we are in a window right now that's good for the Connecticut Sun.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Jim, you'll be the last one for Kurt.
So Kurt, I don't want this to sound insulting, because I know that you guys are smarter than I am, but I'm just wondering how you're monitoring things with AT so that you don't end up with a Kevin Durant situation.
Yeah, I lean on, I just coach her, and then I learn, and I lean on the experts. I lean on our athletic trainer. I lean on our team doctors. They're communicating with me. There's a plan. Again, it's not always just physical. It's mental, and making sure. I probably drive her AT crazy. I probably ask her 3 to 4 times a day, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Talk to me. And so, I'm going to coach her, and I'm going to keep listening to her first and foremost. And then I'm going to listen to our experts that give me the medical advice and medical opinions. And we're going to try to be as smart as possible. At the same time, really trust what everybody's telling you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kurt. You're all set. We'll go ahead and bring in AT. All right. We'll go ahead and open up some questions for Alyssa Thomas. Alexa, you can go first.
Hi, AT. Great to see you back. I wanted to first ask you, I guess this whole season long as you were rehabbing, was it always just your goal to try and make it back at some point of the season if possible? And also, at what point did you actually really fully realize that that was a realistic possibility that you could make your return?
I think when I first got here, I didn't know, what my timetable would be. I was nowhere near close to playing. And then little by little, as I started to get stronger and more comfortable, I would say probably after the Olympic break, I knew it was a strong possibility.
And so as you were being incorporated into, you're warming up with the team, you're practicing with the team, obviously, finally getting in that game on the other day. What was that moment like for you as, Kurt tells you to go in and you checked in for the first time for a while?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I played basketball like this. So just anxious and just ready to have that first one under my belt. I was definitely super rusty, as you can see. But like I said, I'm just happy to have one under my belt and just continue to get better moving forward.
Was it really, Kurt's mentioned he thought it was important for you to get some of those games under your belt before the playoffs. Was that something that you were hoping for to just have, the last game and then obviously tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just having these two right before playoffs will help me tremendously. And then just practice leading up into the playoffs. Every day will just be a chance for me to get my flow back and reincorporate myself with this team.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim?
Hey, welcome back. It's wonderful to see you on the court again. I don't know exactly how to ask the question delicately, but you're rejoining a team that's won 13 in a row now. And they have changed their play in part because you weren't there. They've slowed everything down. That's not normally how you play. How are you working on becoming a part of that team that's been so successful without kind of throwing in something that's going to be disconcerting to them? Does that question make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a part of this team longer than anybody. So although we have slowed the pace down, we talk every day about picking the tempo back up, and that's what I do. So leading up in the playoffs, we have teams that are fast paced and teams that we do need to get more points on the board. So that's where I come in, and I can fit into any type of situation, which we've seen over the years, and I'm just going to continue to do what I do, and as you can see, we're going to continue this streak.
Charlotte?
Nice.
AT, is it cutting out for you?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Charlotte, you're like breaking up like a robot.
I just texted her to see if you got it. Or-
Okay, yeah, I messaged her too.
Well, while we're waiting for that, AT, why don't you tell us a little bit about just how exciting it is for you to have a team that's clearly the best team in the league going into the playoffs and now being an active part of it. I know you've been a part of this team. You've been there on the bench. You've been there at practices. How does that change for you now that you're going to be a player on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on in the season, I said, I think we are one of the best teams in the league. I think if we come out and play our best game each and every night, that we are 20 points better than teams. So I think at this point in the season, it's going to come down to us. We know that first playoff game it's going to be a tough one, as we've known in the past, but we just got to continue controlling what we can control, and that's us, and getting better each and every day. And I'm just happy that I'm back and I can be a part of it and just continue to just add to what they've already done this season.
AT, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Charlotte texted her question. She just wants to know what it's been like what the experience of being a coach on the sidelines has been like this season before coming back.
Yeah, you just get to see the game from a different perspective. So many times you're just on the court in the moment and you can only see part of an action. And now I've been able to sit back and watch practice, watch games, and just see the game slow down in a way that I haven't seen.
Alexa, do you have another question?
I do. Something that Dewana and Kurt have mentioned is that as the player that's longest tenured in this franchise, you have this extra motivation and feeling of pride to help this team win a championship. Now that you guys are obviously really close to that and have done everything you could in the regular season, and now you're coming back, how much was that like extra motivation to try and come back and help this team win?
Huge. I mean, we know, we've been right there. We've been knocking on the door, and now we're sitting right where we want to be. And yeah, it's time to bring a championship to Connecticut. And I think that was just extra motivation for me as I was rehabbing and working on getting back. I just wanted to be a part of a year that's been so special. And we have so much work we have to do to win a championship, and I just want to help in any way that I can.
Another thing that Kurt mentioned is that, at least from his perspective, he wants to ensure the mental side is like right there with your physical side and the the recovery. How's that been for you? Just obviously coming back from being back on the court, but also maybe I don't know if you feel like, is it frustrating at all? Like you said you felt a little rusty. Were you just so happy to be out there? Was that a little frustrating, or how's kind of the mental part of the whole return going too?
Yeah, I mean, an Achilles injury is no joke. I think anybody that's been through this just knows the ups and downs and the good and bad days. And definitely one of the toughest things that I've ever been through. I'm so used to having an injury and just popping back up and getting back out there. But this was a slow process, which was hard. And now it's just about me getting out there. And I found myself a step slow or behind something, but it's to be expected. I haven't played basketball since January, so every day that I'm practicing and working in with the team, I feel it coming back. So for me, I feel I'm in a good place, and I'm happy that we have practice leading up into the playoffs, and I'm just gonna go out there and give what I can.
Since there's been a lot of players around the league who've also come back from Achilles injuries recently and thrived, I didn't know if you've talked with anyone like Stewie or Kelsey Plum about their process and what it was like for them.
Yeah, I talked to Stewie, just got her perspective on, you know, how the recovery process was for her. Kelsey Plum as well, and even Chanae, and everybody's experience is different, as you know what you're feeling, but they all said the same thing, that it's tough. Like, it is a slow process, and you have to be patient. And just hearing that, you know, reassures you. For me, just watching how they've been performing gives you hope, and pushes you even harder to know that, you know, you can get back there, but it's just a really slow recovery.
Gotcha. Thanks, AT.
Thank you.
Thanks, AT. You're all set.
Thank